Hey everyone. So I wanted to share some things that I have had running around my brain for about the last week. So over the weekend, Emily and Rebel and I went to the mall. I walked into a store and instantly I started talking to one of the, you know, I don't know, sales reps, whatever you want to call them. And she was asking what I was looking for. And I was telling her that we had an upcoming trip and I was kind of looking for some summer dresses or cover ups and some new flip flops. And she asked where I was going. So I told her that we were headed to Hawaii for our 8th anniversary. And she, first thing she said was like, "Oh my God, what's your secret?" And I instantly defaulted to kind of the person that I had been. And I said, "Oh, you don't want to ask me. I'm on my third marriage." And I've thought about that so much since that instant that I instantly reverted back to that person that felt like a failure. And I'm not. I've been married almost 8 years. And I've taken everything that I've learned in life and the people who have been the most successful are the people with the most failures. And so you might be wondering, like, what kind of advice does somebody who's been married 3 times have to give about marriage? Obviously you haven't been successful, and I've dealt with those types of opinions from people. I remember my old work that some of the ladies that I work with were very snarky to me and downgraded me for being married 3 times. It's not something that's like the highlight of my list or something that I am uber proud of, but it is reality. And so I've been married 8 years. I've been with the same man for over 11 years, and it's not been pretty. And I've always done a good job, I believe, with sharing the ups and downs and being real. And I think more people need to do that. One of the things that I have been recently focusing on is our marriage and our relationship, because this is something that I've been sharing with a lot of people that I talk to, that I kind of get looks or like, that's interesting, I don't know about that. But I have spent the last year and a half working harder on myself. I've taken off any of those, beliefs that it's selfish to work on myself, and I've worked on myself first. I worked on my marriage second, and then my family third. And that's something that's worked for me, and it's something that I invite you to think about when you are working on creating a relationship and a family that is going to, potentially your outcome is you wanted to bring you happiness and fulfillment and joy. And so I have to work harder on myself, that I needed to work on what it was that was holding me back, what it was that was creating issues in a relationship that I was responsible for. And I needed to work harder on our marriage because of the fact that it's so typical and so normal for people to pour themselves into their children, because it's easy, because children are going to love you. They're going to love you unconditionally. They're going to give you that immediate, response that you're looking for. And it's easy to pour yourself into your kids and ignore the work that needs to go on inside or within the marriage. And I found that when I have worked on myself, when I've been able to shed these old beliefs that have made me feel like I'm unlovable, that I'm not worthy, that I am discardable, that those beliefs created issues in our in marriage. And once I was able to work on that, identify that, come up with a plan of action so that I didn't let those things dictate my actions or my thoughts or my emotions, then I was able to work on our marriage, and our marriage has become stronger. We have just returned back from Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within. It's my second event and Ryan's first. We brought 2 of our children, and it was a game changer for us. We were able to both really evaluate where our beliefs have been that have negatively and even positively affected our relationship. And we've been able to allow ourselves to be vulnerable, to own up to the responsibilities that we've had of the actions that we have had consequences from within our marriage, and move forward. I've never felt so connected to my husband because of the fact that we were able to come in a safe place and be like, dude, this is what we're owning to. And this is what we're realizing was like a light bulb moment for what was causing friction or disconnect in our relationship. And we've been able to move forward and have a more passionate, more understanding, more loving relationship just in the last 10 days. And when those things happen, then naturally your family unit gets better, because kids don't really care about how much time you spend with them. You can pour 10 hours, over a weekday time with them. But if you're not in a good space, if there is chaos or stress in the household, they're going to feed off of that. And they may not even understand what's going on, but they're sensing it. And that vibe is going to be going throughout your family. But when you are happy, you have a good relationship. When your relationship is in a good space and there's respect and there's love and there's understanding, that's teaching children the same thing so that they can communicate with you, and they're learning so that these are the things that are going to shape them as an adult. And all they want is a happy environment to be in. They don't need you to pour all this time into them. And I found that, when there's been times where there's things out of my control, I just pour myself into my kids. I'm like, they need me, they need me, they need me. And I was not giving my all to them. And that was selfish for myself and selfish for my marriage to pour myself into them. And it was selfish to do to them, to expect them to be the provider of that unconditional love and have that burden as a child to give me all of what I need. And it's in the long run, I've seen that it's caused a lot of problems, because it puts this pressure on that these people stay together because of the kids, and then the kids are going to leave. Or if you created such an unhealthy codependent relationship because you're looking for that love from your children, then those are the children that don't fly out of the nest and go on their own, because they have so much guilt that they are to be that person to give you that love that you need, or they can't go on without you. And that's not what I want. And so I've been working really hard on this part of myself and our marriage. And I will say that going to Tony Robbins was single-handedly the best thing that I could have done before going on our 8th anniversary trip. It's something that I shared publicly recently, was the fact that we had said a long time ago on our first anniversary, I was like 7 months pregnant, and I was very angry about it. And we made this decision that on our 5th anniversary, we were going to go to Hawaii, and it didn't happen. We were not in a good space relationship wise, and we actually separated and had the roughest year personally and marriage and family wise. And since then, I have decided to get 100% sober. I'm, a year and I think 5 months now sober. I'm very in tune with who I am, what I want. My husband has been doing the same thing individually on his own. We went to Tony Robbins as, a partial family, because not all the kids went, but I finally feel like there is some uncertainty of where our life's going to be. I don't know who my kids are going to be when they grow up. I don't know what they're going to be. I don't know where we're going to live, but we kind of have this one track vision of where our family is going. And it's created this calm and peace and a feeling of understanding, and there's not so much up in the air. And so I feel that, a year and a half into my sobriety, a year and a half into lots of personal development each and every day, a lot of consistency of showing up every day for my marriage, and my husband doing the same thing, and us being very honest with one another and seeing where we need to make those little 2 millimeter shifts to change the dynamics in our relationship, it has us in a very good space, so that when we go on this trip on Saturday, that we can fully enjoy this trip together. We enjoy our presence together. And if we had went 5 years ago, we weren't in a good space, and we were drinking so heavily, trying to fill these voids that we had, that we wouldn't have remembered the trip, and we wouldn't have really had quality time. It wouldn't have been a celebration for 5 years together. It would have just been a trip. All of our trips used to be focused around alcohol and partying, and it was about going and the places, and it wasn't really about the time and the quality. And so I have learned to be grateful for the things that happen, when they happen, and how they happen, and the time frame that they happen, because I'm glad it didn't happen at year 5 like we wanted, because I wouldn't have appreciated it, we wouldn't have enjoyed it, and it wouldn't be something we could look back on and be proud of where we are. So we're going on this trip. We're super excited. We have some plans. I've challenged myself to do something scary while I'm there. So we're probably going to do a helicopter ride. I'm terrified heights and water. But that's something we're going to do. And it's something that I'm in that space now where I'm going to be able to really enjoy this and have memorable experiences and 100% be able to remember because my mind is not clouded with alcohol. And we're in a good space that we're going to be able to enjoy ourselves. So these are the things that, I'm not an expert at relationships, but I can tell you what not to do. And I've seen so many people, and this is myself included, it's obviously contributed to divorces in the past, is that, if you're feeling that no matter what in that universe, you can always feel when something's missing. You can feel when you have that person that you love. And so many times I hear people, and I've said it myself, that, the passion's gone. We're not connected. And usually it's just this years and years of stacking um, painful events on top of each other and never having the right tools, the right coping mechanisms, or the right communication skills to be able to deal with it. And those keep layering and layering and layering until you finally start safeguarding your heart and putting these walls up that it blocks away the hurt and the pain that could potentially break you. Because we all know love, when you love somebody, they have this power to completely crush your life when it's taken. And but when you put those walls up at the same time, you're also pushing out and locking out love. And so we've worked really hard to get to this point. And so being able to tear down these barriers and really focus on getting rid of the pain that came from the past and really focusing on my relationship and looking at the things that are happening now aren't really the same as the things that I have encountered in past relationships. And I need to differentiate the two. I need to do what my life coach suggested today, is that every week sit down together as a couple and talk about, here's a safe space. What's going on? Is there something that we need to tackle about now and talk about now? Because so many people wait till the heat of the moment, till these painful events have just stacked up, and then it explodes. And then all of a sudden, all you're throwing darts and daggers of something that happened 3 months ago, a year ago. And so I'm realizing now that we have the skills. We've created a safe space in a relationship, and that's something we need to do to cultivate this happy that we have now, is come up with a pattern of weekly or monthly or whatever. And I suggest you guys doing the same thing if you want to keep this in your relationship, is having a safe space of letting people share what's going on, what they're feeling, so that because there's a lot of misunderstandings that go on, and a lot of things that lead to hurt and resentment, and those things can be detrimental to a relationship. So that's something that I'm going to work on. Having that ability to sit down and discuss things that are going on in a safe spot, when angers and tempers aren't flared up, and be able to tackle it then, instead of waiting till the heat of the moment when something else has set you off. It's love is something that so many people repel and tell themselves to have belief systems around because they don't want to get hurt. But love is a powerful thing, and it's something that everybody deserves to experience through friendships, through marriage, or romance, or through their children. And the work that I've been doing to put myself into this is going to help me in every aspect of my life. And so I wanted to share that with you because I know that we see a huge, increase in divorce, and people are settling for connection versus love nowadays more and more. And that whenever there's that first sight of problems, it's so easy to jump ship and look for that next person who's going to give you that quick spark. And I want to go back and tell that girl that asked me, this weekend, what's your secret, and explain to her that I do have tips. That I may have been married twice before, but I do feel like I have the ability to give good advice, because it's by no accident that we're still here, a decade later, still married, still fighting for it. And now we're actually in a better place now, even despite the problems we've had in the past, than we were in the beginning. And, the key is working harder on yourself than anything else, and putting your marriage first, instead of burying yourself in, your children, trying to basically avoid the problems that are there, because the problems will just keep festering, and they will keep getting bigger, and the resentment will come up, and the kids do sense it. I've seen so many people too that if they're feeling kind of lost where they're at in a relationship, that they just turn to food addictions, or for me it was alcohol. And so these things that if you're going, trying to fill a void with food or shopping, or these different things, ask yourself why. And maybe you're in the wrong relationship, maybe you're in the right relationship, and you just haven't found the right skills to make the best of it and reignite that passion and find that connection. But anyways, stay tuned because I've been going through one of Tony Robbins' ultimate relationship programs. I just started it, and I've been hearing some amazing things. And if anything, I hope to, always add value to people who come across my page, my videos, my posts, and most of what I share really comes from the things I've struggled with in the past, that I really hope to give better advice, so that if you're in the midst of that same struggle, or if you come upon it in your life in the future, that you'll be equipped with maybe some better tactics to get around it, so that you don't stay in that state of suffering as long as I and other people have. So I hope you have a great day.